Bro, I had a dream that school started, and the first day of sophomore was all normal, right? And the second day, I wake up and I have this dream about like you know when they're like in Star Wars and they go light speed or whatever. I have a dream, and it's whatever. And then when I wake up, that like effect happens. And I'm like, huh, that was kind of weird. But I'm still in the same house. Everything's still the same. I'm like, huh, okay. And I walk to school, and next to the sixth grade blocker is a name that says Noah. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Didn't think much of it. But then there's one that said Grayson, and one that said Aubrey, and one that said Leia, and yada yada yada. And I was like, oh my god, this is our class. Why are we in sixth grade? But it wasn't with like Mrs. Pittman, or Mrs. Isler technically, right? It was with Mrs. Olson. So it was like we were being taught fourth grade stuff with the fourth grade teacher in my dream, because I guess she taught fourth grade in sixth grade, in when it would be sixth grade, if that makes sense. Like, I got rewinded 4 years ago where I would be in sixth grade, but I kept all my knowledge. I was just littler and crap. I kept all my knowledge, but all my skills weren't like the same. If that doesn't make sense, like, I know all the math in a way, but my handwriting was still really bad. And my typing was still really bad. And my Minecraft was probably still really bad. I don't know, I didn't play Minecraft in this dream. And then, yeah, it was weird. And, we're just doing that. And we're like doing crap, and I open my locker, and there's like these random notebooks, and it hits me. Oh shoot, I didn't grab any notebooks for any classes. So I just grabbed the kid's orange notebook and grabbed my Chromebook bag, which I had, which is weird, because I shouldn't have a Chromebook bag. But I like just hid it in my locker, and then just only grabbed my pencil case, because, you know, no one would be suspicious if I just had a pencil case. Right? So, first class comes around, and we're like learning about math or whatever. And then we had to do some project from, hi bud. And then we had to do some project from the day before, which I guess was like, you like pick, hi, you like pick something you have in common. You like pick something you have in common and compare it with a random person. Come on, come in. And then you make like a 3D model of it. So like if you're a farmer, you would make like a crop collector thing. Go through field. If you like wanted to be like a racer or something, you'd make a race car. Driving on a track. And at the end, it'd say like what your thing is combined. A little subtitle of why. And then your names. Okay. And then I'm like, oh shoot, who was I paired with? I guess I was paired with Landon. Which is weird. But I somehow got an A. And then I started, hi guys. Hi. And then I started like writing down everything I did. Like I wrote down like day one in my notebook of like fast forward. And then you sat right next to me. And I'm like, Aubrey? And you're like, yeah? And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, wait a minute. We're friends, right? And you're like, yep. I'm like, okay. Because I wouldn't know that because it was technically COVID, right? And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, it's sixth grade, technically. So I should be friend, because it has all the properties of sixth grade, except we're being taught fourth grade stuff in a fourth grade classroom with Mrs. Olson. But I was like, okay, it's sixth grade. And sixth grade is sort of when I got to know the girly gang. Like, I knew about the girly gang, and I was, like, kind of friends with y'all. So I was like, okay. Hi, Luna. Hi, Skunky. They were literally laying on the things. It's so goofy. But, hold up. I'll end this, and I'll finish it in a sec. Alright, I'm back. I had to take a photo of the kitties. They're really cute. I think I put it on my story. I can't remember. But, so back to my dream. And I was like, oh my god, who am I friends with? I'm friends with Aubrey. And then I look at the back of the class, and I see Ari and Layla yapping up. And I'm like, wait, if they're there, that means, like, Brie would be here. And that means, like, Savannah would be here. And Brooke. And I was like, oh my god. So I look around class, and I see Savannah in the back corner, because I guess she did something naughty, which checks out. Be nice! Which checks out. Thing! Yeah, how do you like it? Yeah. Don't be pecking the little baby ducklings. How do you like it, huh? Yeah. Butthead. Anyways, so I see, like, Bree, Savannah, Brooke, and I'm like, oh my god, that's kind of crazy. No, y'all weren't friends with Brooke, which is, like, kind of weird, but, I mean, I don't know. I can't remember sixth grade, but in this dream, right? Hey, girlie, come here. Oh, you're so light. You lost weight, Luna. Anyways, so yeah, that happened. And, I was like, okay, well, I should definitely make friends with Ari and Brie and Layla, obviously, because I was already friends with you, I guess. Hi, Strawberry. come on, kitties. And it was all chill. And then, it was like after school, right? And, there was like some party in Driscoll. It must have been like 4th of July or something close like that. No, not you, Luna, you're fine. There must have been like a party or something close like that. So these little dumb teenagers replaced all the signs and said like speed limit 40, speed limit 50. And then it was whatever. So I'm like driving, or I'm like walking by. My dad's like all stressed for his business or whatever. Oh, I missed. My dad's all stressed for his business by his fire truck on call, yapping it up. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Here you guys go. All right, kitties. Let's all go back in. All the cats are outside besides me. All right, come on, kitties. And there was that party at like the baseball diamonds. And I was like, huh, okay, whatever. And then I found 3 totes. One had like garbage because we were cleaning out our old trailer house. I don't know why the time zones worked like that. It was really weird. But we were cleaning out the trailer house and we had 3 totes. One with Nerf guns, one with stuff we want, and one with garbage. So the garbage, garbage we like burned and threw away, right? Obviously. And then the others, come on. And the others, the Nerf gun I kept. It was like a big, red, compact, like revolver sort of thing. But it shot like, but it had like the barrel. But instead of being like on the side gun, it was at the front. So it could shoot, do, and then it run out. But it had those mega bullets, like the big red scary bullets. So that would hurt if you got hit by it. And then Liam, like the kid from school that I like was super tough by, I guess, was like just chilling. Come on. I'm bringing you inside, you goofy cat. Yeah, you're so silly. Oh, there you go. Good girl. And Liam was there, and it was like Liam, me, and that's it. And I was on call with my dad, who's behind us, and we're like driving on our little, what's it called? The little, you know, the little boogie mobile thing? You know the Zytron around? Yeah, we're driving around that. And, hi! And, be nice. Be nice. Excuse me. You're in my way, cat. And, that happened. And we drove, like, past the party, and we saw Thing on the side of the road, and Liam wasn't stopping. My dad's like, hey, watch out for Thing. And I was like, watch out for Thing, Liam. He's like, okay. Bro's not stopping. I'm like, are you gonna stop? He's like, nope. So he, like, swerves, not stopping. But then slowly, but swerves so early that when he started turning back, he was about to hit him. So I'm like, so I like jump on his lap. I'm like pressing down the brake. The car ain't slowing down. It's like barely slowing down. And I'm like, oh God. And my dad's like, I swear, if Liam hits the freaking duck, I'll kill him. And I'm like, all right. So we stop, or we don't stop. We're like driving, and we drive like right over him. But since like, I guess the boogie's like high up, Thing just like went under the boogie. Like he like went under it, but he's like alive, you know? If that makes sense, kinda. He like went under it because it was so big. For whatever reason. It was like a boogie / 4-wheeler / I had a Nerf gun. So I'm like, all right, man, I'm tired of this. And I guess the boogie had some bicycle attachment, because like on the side was just my bicycle with my very uncomfortable seat. But my bicycle had like, hi, you have to wait for your own food, you biggie. With the bicycle, have like a little like, engine thing. I'll send you a photo. It's from a game I play. But it had that on it, which made it so it could go like super fast or whatever. And I was like, oh, perfect. So I fly down, and I'm like by like the restroom area of the baseball diamonds, if you know where that is. Friggin' bed, bro. And I was doing that, and go restroom out. I see Josiah, like the kid that wasn't banned. He's like a senior this year, or maybe he was a senior. Excuse me, buddy, I'm trying to fix my bed here. Ugh. And I'm like, hey, I'm like trying to turn around to go back home or whatever, and he's like, just loop around. And I'm like, all right. And then I loop around, and I see Peyton. And I'm like, hey. And she's like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, oh, not much, just riding around. She's like, oh, cool. And they're like, yeah, Pearl, whatever. I drive back. Hey, see Grayson. And I guess she was like a bottle deep. But she was like yapping, and we were yapping for a while. Then Macy walks up. She goes, do you like Noah again? And I'm like, bruh, are we for real? And she's like, I bet you do. I'm like, oh my God. So we're yapping. And I guess, in my dream, there was this website called like, what was it? It was like Fur Infinity. Don't ask why, I have no clue. I promise. So there was that. And I said, like, yeah, I was on a website without telling her, because I guess it'd be really embarrassing or something, I don't know. And I said, I found her profile, and she's like, wait, what? What website? And I told her, and she's like, oh, don't tell anyone. I'm like, all right. And I said, I found an old video of her and Peyton, like, painting their faces or something at their house. And it was a really dumb video. And then, like, it was like, oh, that was kind of funny. And we're, like, yapping, talking, whatever. And I was like, oh, why should I get home? I got chores doing crap. And she's like, all right, whatever. Yada, yada, yada. And I like get home, and then my dad's like, "Do you want to go to the pool?" And I'm like, "In Bismarck?" He's like, "No, here." And I'm like, "There's no pool in Driscoll." And he's like, "Well, why do you think they're partying?" And I'm like, "Because they wanna." And he's like, "Let me show you this." So he walks into the hall, and there's a big projector screen at the party. Because, like, I don't know, my dad's crazy. There was like a security guard in this, I don't freaking know. And the big projector screen, he like presses a button in his hand and it turns on and it shows everyone. We're like, whoa. And the button turns blue. But it can still be pressed, okay? Okay, I don't know how much that got, so I'm just gonna recap. There was a blue button, and my dad pressed it because the red button turned blue, and then the sky was like fake. It was a fake skybox, and there was tons of caution tape around it, but it looked real, right? And he presses the button, and then, yeah, excuse me, bud. He presses the button, and the skybox, everyone realizes it's fake, and it unveils itself like a curtain, and there is a massive new room with tons, which turned out to be like an indoor water park sort of thing, with like tons of water slides and all that cool stuff. And everyone's like, "Yeah, so fun!" So I am like going down those and chilling, right? Big chilling, or whatever. And I go down the slide, and then I see, gosh, what's his name? Not Quincy. Lucas Rauda. But he's like jacked and like 7 feet tall and like all beefy. And I'm like, oh. Interesting. And he was like, "Why are you going down all the slides?" And I'm like, "Because it's a water park." He's like, "Well, you should let me and my hot bays go." He was holding you and Landon Rath. I was like, that's a man. And Aubrey, what the freak? And he was like, "You should let me and my hot bays go," with an S. And I was like, "All right, man, I don't care. Y'all can go." And he's like, "Nah, they're gonna go. But I need to talk to you, little man." And I'm like, "The hell does this guy want?" And he's like, since you didn't really talk to me at the party. You talked to freaking, Josiah. And I hate Josiah for some reason. Even though I think them are like sort of kind of besties. I don't think they're besties. I think they're just chill, like what me and Cody were. But whatever. And then they're like, "Yeah." And he's like talking about it. And he's like, "Yeah, you let me go with these slides, and you talk with Josiah. That's it." And he like smashes his two fists together, and they like crack. Like if he had tons of dried skin, it like cracks off. And I'm like, "Oh, so tough." And I go, "Okay, Timmy, tough knuckles." And he like starts running towards me, about to beat the crap out of me. And I'm like, "Oh god." So I jump into the pool, and then he's like swimming, staring me down the entire way. And I'm like terrified for my life. So I like jump out, and I go on down a slide, and I catapult myself at the bottom of the slide up onto the concrete, and I'm running to the big slide, which is like the slide at Ramkota. It was sort of like the pool at Ramkota. And I catapult myself, and I'm running to the slide, and he is already around the corner somehow, and he's like, "Nowhere to run, boy. We know you can't touch in the 6 feet pool behind you." And the other part was fenced off because it was a little kid area. The other part was fenced off because it was a slide. So I really had nowhere to go. Unless I was willing to swim, but I was exhausted and I would be caught and probably drowned. I was like, "You know what? I don't even care what you think." He's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I pull out my thick Nerf gun from before and shoot him 3 times in the forehead. And he drops like a friggin' fly. Just like that. That was accidentally my deodorant falling, but shh. And then we go to school the next day, and everyone's like whispering at me, and Aubrey's like, or I guess you, are like, "Did you really kill Landon? Or did you really kill Lucas Rada?" He's like the scare, because I guess he's like some ultra, super jacked, super villain of like Steel and Driscoll. And I'm like, "Yeah, and I'm like, no, that wasn't me. It must have been someone else," because I didn't want to be like super popular for some reason. Like, there's no negatives, but like, I don't know. Maybe he had bros, which is weird because you were one of his bays, but so was Landon Rath, and Landon Rath just didn't come to school that next day because like his hottie bay died. Oh no. And Landon Rath ex Lucas Rad is really funny also. Anyways, so that happened. And then we like go to class, and I like grab the kid's orange notebook from earlier, which was in his locker. I said like, "Timmy," or I think it was like Robert Timmy was his full name, and it was just in my locker because he never got rid of his stuff. He's like, alright. So I took his notebook, and I just flipped through it and just tore out all the old papers of any random garbage that I didn't need. Because there were tons of, like, old stick drawings and whatever garbage that he threw. Till I just had blank papers. And I wrote day 2. Or each page was a new day. Because there's, like, what? Almost 200 days in school? Like, 180, I think. Something like that. And I wrote day 2, and I explained like what happened and like how this future stuff is going. Because today went really well in school, because they did math, and I knew all the math, and I had like an A in the class. And then we went to student teacher conferences. She's like, Noah's doing really good in math, but Noah's doing really good in math, but in his other classes, he's just pretty average. So I work on those. Because, you know, we'd have the same teacher as one class or whatever. Because it's technically 6th grade. And then I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then, I was like walking. And we do the math unit. And it's all fine. And then I go home. And I go on my computer. And I guess, Graceland added, like, you know, on that website before, the Fur Infinity or whatever it was called in my dream, I don't know, and I type in her name and it shows up the video, but I guess she added, like, how you like at someone, Peyton, and I was like, oh, well, might as well check out Peyton's profile, whatever, who cares, right? It's like me like checking out, like, if I checked out like your public profile on Snapchat, whatever, right? But it wasn't on Snapchat. It was like some random website. And I go on there. And yeah. And I'm like, and I like type, and I'm like, oh, cool. And I like see this one folder, and I'm like, what's on here? And it needs a password. And I'm like, well, that's a little questionable. So I'm like, 3rd day of school goes around. I write it in my notebook. I explain the classes. And it's going good. School's going good because, you know, I know everything. I know what I want to do. And it's even better because in real life, I'm like, there's a thing. Like, I'll go outside with, like, a fence post, which is a spear because I've, like, sharpened it down by a bit. You know, like, have all these battles and crap. It's real life, by the way. Because, like, you know, just normal men, boy things. And I'll be like, and then I was, like, writing it down recently, like, yesterday, in real life. And like writing down plot events of like each of the 6, or maybe it's 7. I don't know. Either one of the 6 or 7 like main parts of like the overall series, I guess you could call it. And I was making down the plot points. And then in the dream, I was like, oh wait, I've already written those down. But since I'm in the past, they wouldn't be written down, and those would have never happened. But I already know what happens in the first part, so the next parts, which I technically haven't done, will be super easy to write about. Because I'd actually know what to write about, because I've done like all of them in real life, like years ago, 2022, years ago. So it's been a while, and god dang is I. And yeah, and then I was like writing about it, and I was like, that's so cool. And then like Brooke walks up to me, and she's like, do you want to be friends? I'm friends with Dane, and he's kind of cool. And I was like, think to myself, I was like, ask me tomorrow, cause I'm not really sure. You know, I'm kind of new here. I gotta think about it. She's like, okay. Because, like, you know, I wouldn't be new there. Bruh. I hate Snapchat so much. I spent 10 minutes, 20, because it didn't send the first time, yapping, and I sent it. And then I got done, and I sent it. And it didn't forget to send. I hate this thing. Oh my god. Okay, I'm just gonna re-say it. But I'm not showing it up even more. So, I'm like thinking in my bed. I'm like, should I be friends with Brooke? And I'm like, huh. It would be good, because, like, we'd be friends, but it'd be bad, because, like, I know what happens with Brooke. And I tell her, next day, day 3. rolls around. I'm like, sorry, but no. And she's like, aw. And she's like, why? And I was like, my life's just really stressful and crap. And my family's just been really stressed stuff. She's like, okay. And then I go up to Bree that day. And I'm like, do you want to be friends? And she's like, sure. So I'm friends with like you, Layla, Ari, and Bree. And it's all nice. And then homecoming comes around in 6th grade. And instead of 7th grade homecoming, all of that happens in 6th grade homecoming. And then it like ends, it's like the end of the year, 6th grade, summer, and start of the year, 7th grade. And I learn about like Clayton and Alice and all of them. And I become friends with Brooke, even though I know what happens. Because we still have 2 years. It'll be fine. I'll become friends with Brooke. And then the girls' night happens. We guys went like, I'm girls. And Brooke read the 48 inches. And instead of 7th grade homecoming, all of that happens in 6th grade homecoming. And then it like ends, it's like the end of the year, 6th grade, summer, and start of the year, 7th grade. And I learn about like Clayton and Alice and all of them. And I become friends with Brooke, even though I know what happens. Because we still have 2 years. It'll be fine. I'll become friends with Brooke. And then the girls' night happens. We guys went like, I'm girls. And Brooke read the 48 inches. And all that happens. But I'm there. And it's super tough. And then, yeah. And then I learn about like the rise and fall, I guess you could say, of Clayton and Alice and all them. And I see Leon taped. And it's like all cool. It's kind of weird. My dream went from like normal to like full on fixing my mistakes, I guess, quote unquote mistakes. It's not really a mistake, but whatever. It's kind of weird. I don't know. Anyways, and then that happens, and then we like get to 7th grade, and then we fast forward to like the Dimitri arc, and it's like Savannah, or not the Dimitri arc, Savannah, I guess. So it's like Savannah, Aubrey, Ari, Brooke, Bree, Layla, and me. That's 7 people at one lunch table. Something's bound to happen. And Savannah's like, oh, I got this paper at 3 a.m. And Ari and everyone besides like you, because you're like besties with freak off Savannah. God, I hate that kid. Whatever. And me, Ari, and Bree are like, yeah, we've had enough. Get out of here. So she does. Thank God. And this 7th grade, by the way. And then homecoming comes around. It seemed better. We're like yapping. It seemed better. And then like, Bree talks about how she's leaving, and we're like, oh no, because like I was even more friends with Bree because I knew her since 6th grade at this time instead of 7th, and we're all sad. And then I go to Bree's birthday party, and I still get kicked out for being too freaky and kicking the door, even though I never kicked the door. Bree sent me a photo of that door, no dent in it, and I have proof on Discord, so nobody better ever tell me there's a dent in that friggin' door. Urgh. But yeah, and then I still get kicked out, which kind of sucks, but whatever, I don't really care. All right, and we had s'mores. It was great. Ari will never admit it, but I literally, that birthday, on her birthday, before I left, we put s'mores in the microwave, and we had s'mores, and it was great. I don't know what Ari's on about. She says we never had s'mores. And I know for sure we had s'mores. I know, I remember it. Yeah. And then, let's see. And then after that, Bree leaves, sadly. So it's, Brooke, Layla, Aubrey, Ari, and me. It's 5 people from 7 to 5. And then we get the Dimitri arc, which is what I'm calling it. So we get Dimitri, and you start like talking with Dimitri, and then I start yapping with Dimitri as friends, because like, we're friends. And you were like, oh, we're friends, but he's so hot. Ah! Right? And then I'm like, and then I have like a sleepover. I think it's like a multi-day thing. I can't remember. I like stopped counting days. They're in my journal. They would be, but obviously this like a year since. I won't be counting days. It's like December. And Ari's there. And in this universe, so you know how I said Bree left? I forgot. Bree didn't leave till like May, which I think is actually more accurate. So, but I can't remember. I don't think Bree was there during the Dimitri thing. I think Dimitri was in 8th grade. Yeah. But whatever. We'll say it's 7th grade. Okay. Yeah, Dimitri wasn't there 7th grade. He was there 8th. Whatever. I get things mixed up. Okay. So it's 8th, 7th grade, 7th. And Bree's still here because she just leave till May, which I know is accurate. But I know she wasn't there for the Dimitri thing. So yeah. But we'll say, in my dream, the Dimitri thing happened in 7th grade, which would make it a really crazy year if that did happen, but whatever. And I have like a multi-day sleepover with Ari and Bree, and nothing freaky happened because I know you're gonna ask that because you're a little freak. And you think we're gonna crack it in 2 seconds. Yeah, nothing freaky happens. And I'm like, I gotta tell you guys something. And they're like, yeah, what? And I'm like, I'm from the future. And they're like, alright, bro, super funny. And I'm like, no, I'm being for real. And they're like, all right, prove it. And I'm like, well, Aubrey's gonna date a guy, be friends with a guy named Dimitri. And they're like, yeah, we've heard Dimitri. You can't just predict that. I'm like, no. And I start telling them, I'm like, do you want me to tell them? And they're like, sure, if you're so much of a time traveler or whatever. Because I don't know how it got thrown in the past. That's like never explained. I don't know. But, and I was like, I just got thrown in the past into 6th grade. And I like know who's our teacher? I know like Dewald and I know Biesterfeld and I know all the formulas we're gonna be taught. Like everything's gonna be easy and I can help you guys. And they're like, okay, cool. But back to Dimitri. And I'm like, yeah, my bad. And I was like, alright, so Dimitri, and I was explaining how he's like homeschooled and how you're gonna love him, and then he's gonna get group chat, and then he's gonna call Layla some very, very, very bad things. And I was like describing to them. They're like, oh my god, for real? And I'm like, yeah. And then I tell them, like, do you want me to tell this part? Because this involves like the entire girly gang. And they're like, obviously. And then, that happens, and I'm like telling them how like the girly gang splits. Like it's Brooke, Aubrey, and technically Dimitri, and then Bree, Ari, me, and Layla. It'd be really cool if Bree was there during the Dimitri situation. That would definitely have changed it a lot. Because I know she wasn't, because Dimitri was in 8th grade, and she left May 7th, so whatever. But it'd be kind of crazy if she was. That would definitely change it a lot. Oh, Josiah. I thought I heard like a cat crying or something. Anyways, but yeah. It's okay, Charlie. But yeah. So the Dimitri thing happens, and they're like, oh my god, you could say the truth. And I'm like, yeah, I can. So they start asking me stuff, and I'm like, okay, guys, I don't know what happens in yours life. I don't know what happens in mine. They're like, oh. And they're like, oh, well, that's boring. And I'm like, well, I don't know what you want me to tell you, gang. And then that all happens. Alright. And then it's like the end of 7th grade. And Bree sadly leaves. And then the matriarch is over. Everything happens. But this is where it turns. I'm like, because I have a sleepover with everyone besides you and Brooke. And Bree, because she, left at this point. This like summer, right? And I'm like, guys, I'm like, Layla, Ari, I got something to tell you. They're like, what? And I'm like, well, so y'all remember Dimitri and how Brooke was on our side? And they're like, yeah, we hate Brooke. And I'm like, I hate Brooke too. And I tell them, I'm like, we're probably gonna sorta kinda you, Ari, are probably gonna sorta kinda be friends with Brooke again. She's like, really? And I'm like, yep. And I'm like, you can change that, obviously. It's you. I only know I only know what happened in alternate universe. And then I'm like, also, the year after, because we're going into 8th grade, this like 7th grade summer. And I'm like, after 8th? Bruh. Okay, and I'm like, I got proof on my phone that Brooke's gonna like do all these things. And they're like, no, no, you don't. And I'm like, but I do though. And they're like, how? I'm like, well, on my phone, all the apps that you can text have like an inverted version. And this inverted version is from the future. And you can click a year and then click a person to find their messages in that year. So I went through Brooks and I went through Aubrey's and I showed them. And I went through the Goonies group chat and I showed them this is what Brooke does. You can read through all this. We'll send it to you guys. And they're like, oh my god, you have proof of why Brooke's a douche. And we already hate her because she sided with Dimitri. I'm like, yep. And she never apologized to Layla. And they're like, oh my god, we're right. You're right. She specifically never apologized to Layla. And we're like thinking. And we're like, wait, we can get rid of Brooke. And we're like, yeah, because we hated Brooke at the time. We realize she's going to be a douche more. There's no reason to have her, right? So we like confront this to you. And you're like, what? My little Brookie cookie would never do such a thing. So we send you all the proof. And you don't read through it. So we send you a voice note or a video, something like that. And you're like, oh. And you're like, well, she's like my best friend and I can't leave her. And Ari's like, bro, we're your friend too. We've been your friend longer. Noah's been your friend longer. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. She's like, and you're like, well, I don't want to weave Brooke because I don't want to weave Dimitri. And we're like, yeah, too damn bad. So we go to Brooke and we're like, here's the evidence. It's from the future. Leave. And she's like, what? And we're like, a person to find. I'm like, look, on this app, it says, well, you're going to text me after school. It's this long paragraph of how she hates me. And I'm like, she's like, I'm not going to text that. You're just lying. And I'm like, it says I'll text him yesterday. And she's like, anything can do that, which is kind of a valid response. But we all knew it was true because I showed other facts. Like, if Ari texted me something, I could see, after they leave, I could see what they were going to text me. Send the TikToks. Then Ari and I screen recorded it and sent a date of the day before, showing that this from the future. And then I screen recorded the day of when she would actually send them to a normal app. And it did. And I also sent that to Brooke. And she's like, What? The next day. And she's like on the table, and we're all like, we have like photo evidence because we can't use our phone. And Mr. Deagle's like, you doing an investigation? Because we love Mr. Deagle. And I'm like, He's like, well, good luck. Oh, I love Mr. Deagle. But yeah, and you were like still sobbing, but you were like kind of less because it's the next day. Brooke's like, you fucking liar. You are from the future. And I'm like, I'm not. Because, like, if you're shouting in the lunchroom, everyone's going to hear you. They're going to think I'm from the future, and I can't have that. Go. And Bree and Ari are like, or not Bree and Ari, Layla and Ari are like, oh, well, maybe he is, maybe he's not. But at this point, he probably still is. He's just bluffing, which I was. And then Brooke's like, and Brooke's like, well, you're from the future, you fucking cunt. And I'm like, what? No. What are you on about? She's like, I have proof. I'm like, I have proof of why you're a douche. Get out of here. She's like, no. So she, like, runs out the back kitchen doors, like, full on crying. And, like, then it's, like, the next day. And, like, we're all like, yay. And you're like, I miss my Brooke. And Ari's like, shut up, Aubrey. Which is really funny. And then, yeah. And then, that's all going on. And, gosh, what happens next? Oh, yeah. And then I sit at my desk, and Taven comes up. He's like, what the hell happened to Brooke? Why was she saying that? And I was like, because I proved how she sucks. And he's like, really? How? So I tell him about it. I don't tell him from the future. I just say, like, all these things of what she said to me and just said that she sent him previously. And he's like, oh, yeah, I hate that. So like, the entire class just hates Brooke now, which is sort of accurate. And it's really funny. And then, like, it goes on, and ninth grade happens, but without Brooke. So there's no Detroit Lakes, no more Christmas parties, besides, like, the one with Dimitri in, technically, 8th grade. Even though, or in this dream, it would be the Christmas party in 7th grade. No, there was no Dimitri Christmas party, because the Christmas party was the girls' night, I think. In my dream, yeah, in 7th grade, the Christmas party was the girls' night, and Dimitri was cut off in December before Brooke's Christmas party. So, there would be no Dimitri Christmas party, and there'd be no Detroit Lakes or no 9th grade Christmas party. So 9th grade comes around, and and it's all chill. It's me, you, Layla, and Ari. As it was all great. And then, like, time happens, and yeah, and then I woke up. And it was great. It was low-key a wild dream, and I don't even think I got all of it, because I don't remember. I was like, as I was saying this, I was like trying to remember bits and parts of it, but it was crazy. But yeah. If you haven't seen all of these, you should, like, send a video recording of you listening to all of them. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah.